Hello friends, welcome to a new episode of Drishti IAS Editorial Analysis. In this editorial analysis, we do three things. First of all, we link the editorial to the UPSC syllabus. Secondly, we try to understand the key points of the editorial. And thirdly, if any key concepts have come in the editorial and are important from exam point of view, we also discuss them. So let us begin today's editorial analysis.
Dear viewer, this video is available in Hindi as well. If you wish to watch it, please visit our Hindi YouTube channel, Drishti IAS. For your convenience, the link for this video in Hindi has been provided in the description below.
We have taken today's editorial from the Indian Express and it has come on 14th of August. The title of the editorial is Good Steps on Tax. It says faceless assessment and appeal, random allocation of cases, anonymity, all these measures will help reduce taxpayers' harassment. So let us now look at its linkage with the syllabus. So we find that it links directly with GS paper 3, where we have economic development as one of the important topics of the syllabus. And under this, because it deals with direct tax matters, it directly links with mobilization of resources and also with government budgeting. So after establishing the linkage with the syllabus, now let us look at the key points of the editorial. So before moving on to the key points of the editorial, let us see what changes have been brought into the direct tax regime. So the new tax regime promises to be faceless and fearless. And this basically has been done to bring in transparency in the tax collection system and to encourage people to pay their taxes without any fear. And the important pillars of this recent tax reforms are faceless assessment, faceless appeal, and a taxpayers charter. The faceless assessment and taxpayers charter will be effective from 13th of August and the faceless appeal will become effective from 25th of September. And why these changes or reforms in direct tax administration are needed? Because we have to understand that India has a population of around 130 crores, out of which if we look at the 2014-15 data, as per the Income Tax Department, the income tax returns which were filed were around 3.5 crores. And in 2018-19, the filing of income tax returns increased to 6.3 crores. And these numbers are very less if we look at the total population of the country. Only 1.5 crore people are paying their taxes out of 130 crore people, because out of these many people who are filing their tax returns, many are filing for nil returns. That is, their taxable income is less than the minimum threshold needed to pay tax. And more people have come under this nil return category, as the individuals with taxable income up to Rs 5 lakhs need not pay any tax. Now in this new tax system, the tax collection will be fairer, the taxpayer will be fearless, and the tax administration will be faceless. So this is a kind of 3 Fs which can be remembered. Also, the Prime Minister has said that the future of tax reforms will be based on 3 T's, that is trust, transparency, and technology. So even the current reforms that have been introduced, which is faceless assessment, faceless appeals, both of these are based on the use of technology, which will remove the human interface. And the human interface has been a source of harassment as well as of corruption. So basically the government wants to move towards a policy-driven governance as far as tax administration is concerned, which will be based on digital interface that minimizes the grey areas, eliminates discretion, and promotes transparency and certainty in tax matters. So this is important and this can be used in your answer writing. That we are moving towards a policy-driven governance which will make use of digital interface to minimize grey areas, to eliminate discretion, and promote transparency and certainty. Another important reform that has been done this time is the introduction of a taxpayer's charter of duties and entitlements. And through this charter, the tax department has laid out what it expects from the taxpayer. So it expects from the taxpayer honesty, accuracy of calculations in their tax return filings, and timely payments of their tax dues. And at the same time, the tax department is also committing itself to assuming innocence of the taxpayer unless there is a strong reason not to assume so. It will also respect everyone's privacy, and it will also take decisions within specified time frames and also offer redressal mechanisms for any grievances that the taxpayers may have. So this is a very important reform in the direct tax system. And why these tax revenues are so important for the government? Because they provide stable revenue source for the government. Also, the predictable and enforceable nature of tax revenues. And finally, it helps the government to fund its social sector schemes and public infrastructure projects. And when the tax revenues are good, the government is also able to reduce its borrowings. And that helps the government's finances. So after this background, let us look at the key points of the editorial. So on 13th of August, Prime Minister Narendra Modi has launched the Transparent Taxation, Honoring the Honest Platform. And through it, he has unveiled a raft of measures that aim to ease the compliance burden and reward honest taxpayers. Broadly, the three pillars of the platform are faceless assessment and appeal and the taxpayers charter that has been introduced for the very first time. And the aim is to eliminate the physical interface between the tax department and the taxpayer. And through the charter, the aim is to delineate the rights as well as obligations of the taxpayer. And these are very good reforms, but much will depend on their implementation on the ground. And the editorial also says that in a country with a high degree of complexity of the tax system, which often comes in the way of compliance, the attempt to make it seamless, painless and faceless is welcome. So the aim of the government here is to make the tax administration simpler and easier for the tax-paying public. And the government's expectation is that once the tax administration system becomes more efficient and simpler, then the number of taxpayers will also increase. Right now, one of the major reasons for the low tax compliance in India is the complexity of the tax laws and the way it is administered. The editorial also says that the income tax department is often accused of being overzealous in its pursuit of meeting the budgeted tax collection targets. And to meet these collection targets, the assessing officers often raise unreasonable demands that leads to tax disputes and long drawn out litigation, in which the tax department often finds itself on the losing side. The success rate of such disputes for tax departments are less than 30%. Also, the Comptroller and Auditor General of India in its 2019 report has noted that the assessing officers have committed errors in the assessments, ignoring clear provisions of the Act. That means they have been driven by the collection targets and not by the facts of the case. Also, the existing scrutiny assessment procedure has been termed opaque by the CAG. And that is why the government has initiated these reforms to make the assessment process faceless and also the appeals process faceless, so that there is minimal human interface involved in resolving of tax disputes. And the editorial points out that a large amount of rupees 8.02 lakh crore is under dispute related to direct taxes as per the Union Budget figure of 2020-21. And of this amount, 40% has been pending for more than 2 years. Also, if we look at the cases pending before Commissioner of Appeal, then there were around 3.41 lakh cases, which were related to direct taxes, and approximately 92,000 cases were pending before the Income Tax Appellate Tribunal. So there is lot of litigation and protracted legal battles, which leads to harassment of the taxpayer, and it also does not do any good to the income tax department as well and its image. And therefore the editorial feels that shifting to a framework of faceless assessment and appeal is a step in the right directions. And measures such as automated random allocation of cases, random allocation of appeals to any officer in the country, and ensuring the officer's anonymity, all these will ensure that the becomes better than what it is today. And all of this will help in reducing litigation and ending taxpayers' harassment, which has become commonplace as of today. The editorial also talks about the Taxpayers' Charter, which it says signals an attempt to bridge the trust deficit between the taxpayer and the tax department. But it says that there will be challenges with its enforcement, because for its proper enforcement, the rights of taxpayers will need to be clearly defined, and they have to be binding on the tax department. Otherwise, the Taxpayers' Charter will only remain a charter on paper and not be implemented on the ground. Also, the editorial says that at a broader level, there is a need to reassess and reconfigure the working of the tax department by building capabilities to check tax evasion and to widen the tax base, while at the same time discouraging unreasonable tax demands and curbing unreasonable litigation. So these are the things which are very important for tax administration in the country. One, the tax revenues need to be enhanced, and the way to do this is by checking tax evasion and also by widening the tax base. So these two measures are very important for increasing the tax revenue. And at the same time, the income tax department also needs to discourage the tendency of litigation and unreasonable tax demands, because that will also help in increasing the tax compliance by the people, resulting in higher tax revenues for the government. So this was all in the key points of the editorial. Now let us look at some key concepts. So in key concepts, let us look at why tax base in India is so low. So India's tax to GDP ratio is under 15%, and it is much lower than OECD countries, which have a tax to GDP ratio of around 34%. And India's tax to GDP ratio is also lower as compared to other developing countries. And there are some reasons for it. So there are some structural factors like India's low per capita income, high poverty levels, which keep the tax collections low. Also, out of the 25 crore households in India, 15 crore households belong to agricultural sector, which is exempted from paying any income tax. And here we have the unique case of many rich people claiming to be farmers just for availing the tax exemptions. Also, a larger proportion of the economic activity in India is generated by small and medium enterprises, and there are many tax exemptions for them, which also reduces the tax collections. Also, the increase in exemption from income tax to individuals earning income up to Rs 5 lakh, this has also reduced the tax collections. And the increase in standard deduction from Rs 40,000 to Rs 50,000. Also in India, there is a problem of the missing middle, which according to the Kelkar committee includes professionals such as CAs, lawyers and doctors who do not pay taxes, because the laws are framed in such a way that they can show a lot of expenses and thereby decrease their income on which they need to pay tax, and mostly they pay very less taxes. Also, the corporate tax revenue has seen a decline because of various exemptions. Then there is the problem of black money, which refers to a parallel economy of unaccounted incomes and expenditures which go untaxed. Then there is problem of tax avoidance like base erosion and transfer pricing. This also leads to lower tax revenues for the country. Now, what can be some of the measures which can increase the tax to GDP ratio? First can be putting a check on exemptions by entering into agreements with foreign countries for reducing the tax outflow. Also, widening the individual taxpayers' base by making the tax system more taxpayer friendly and simpler to follow. Universalizing the use of PAN number, simplifying the tax laws to increase tax buoyancy. Also, an attitudinal change in citizens by invoking a sense of duty towards the nation, which is something the Prime Minister has tried to do while launching these reforms, in which he has appealed to the people of the country to pay their taxes and become a part of the growth story of India. So after all this, let us look at the kind of questions that can be asked in prelims and mains. So in prelims, the question can be directly asked on the tax reforms. For example, what is meant by faceless appeals, faceless assessment and taxpayers charter. And also about this platform, transparent taxation and honoring the honest, that has been launched. Question can also be asked about the tax GDP ratio, so we should be clear about what does this mean and what does a lower or higher ratio signify. Also, question can be asked on direct tax versus indirect tax and which is more progressive taxation system. In mains, the question can be on the reforms needed in direct taxes and which reforms have been undertaken so far. Also, a question can be on the taxpayers charter and how it will change the tax administration in the country. Finally, a question can also be asked on how India's tax base can be increased. So one should be prepared on all these issues. So this was all in today's editorial analysis. We'll see you next time with another editorial. Thank you.